Everyone, welcome to the React development tutorial. In this tutorial we'll talk about React Router. And what is React Router? This is the standard way of navigating from one page to another in React. And this is a third-party libraries. We'll learn how to install React Router and how do we use it inside of our application. So let's do it. Okay, here is the final application that we're going to create. So we have a simple view, which you can see the URL is localhost and it doesn't have any /. And we have a button here, but when I click on this button, it changes the URL and it goes to a different page. That's all. And as you can see, the button label is changed. It goes to a very different page. And that's how React Router works. I keep it very simple. So you just learn about React Router. Later, we will have very complex applications that we can use this part. But it's important that you learn the basic stuff of React Router, and then we can reuse it inside of the very complex application. So just don't laugh at the very simple application that we are introducing here. Let's create this. Okay, in order to create this app, I will reuse the basic structure that we use for other applications throughout this tutorial, like the one that we have for React Redux, the previous tutorial. So it's a basic structure of that it has the root folder, it has src folder, and you have app.tsx, index.tsx, the same thing that we have in previous tutorials. If you have not watched it, I highly suggest to go and watch what are these steps, and we can just you will learn more about it. So I'll reuse this structure. And first step is to install React Router. So how do we install it? There's documentation here, right here, reactrouter.com, and you can go to the version 6. It's the latest version of React Router, and click on the installation. So that's very simple. And when you scroll down, you will see this npm, and we have to just send this command to install it in our dependency. So I'll copy paste this and go into the root folder of our application, and this is the terminal, and just send this command. I'll wait until it will install the packages. So if I open the packages, it will add this dependency for me. So if I refresh, as you can see, this is added React Router DOM, and it's version 6. So now, if we go back to the documentation, the next step is that we have to wrap our app with this browser router. So remember last time we wrapped it with Redux stuff? So this is the same. We have to this time wrap it with browser router. And first we have to get the import as well. So I get it here and then go back to the index.tsx. So let me... Yeah, if you remember that we wrapped it previously for Redux state with provider, this time it's different, so we have to just I copied the import part. So we import it first, and then we copy the browser router, and then we come here and wrap our app with this browser router. That's all we have to do for setting up this index.tsx. Now we have to set up our app.tsx. If I go to the app.tsx, in our previous application, remember we had a form and we added all of the Redux stuff. In order to simplify the stuff, I will remove all of the stuff that we added in the previous tutorial. If you want to watch it, you can go watch it later. But for this one, we just focus on the React Router. So I'll remove all of the stuff that we had for a previous tutorial. And now if we go back to the documentation, in our app tsx, we need to import these routes. So basically whatever route we need, we will add it inside of the app.jsx. So if I go to this view, I can just simply add this, and for sure we have to import this stuff. So if I do command enter, also routes and route. So currently it doesn't have home or about. These are the pages that we need to create. So how do we do that? It's very simple. I prefer to have all of the pages in one location, so I'll say new and I'll add all pages in one folder. So I say pages. I first created a folder, and then I can just add a new file into it, and this is JSX file, so I call it home page. So we need one home page, so wants to add it to the Git, and we need a new file for about page. So this is also JSX about page, and yes, and you can see it adds it under the pages, about page and home page. Currently these two are empty, but we can add stuff into it later. So we can add home page here, about page here, and WebStorm is smart enough that it recognizes what we need to import. I think, oh, maybe I jinxed it. So it's okay, so we can add it manually. We can say import, and we just give it this path that we just created. You can say import homepage, where from, and it's from pages and homepage. Same thing for about page. I'll copy paste it, add it here, I copy the name, and this time say about page. So that's all we need to do. So these imports are not needed. These are for previous tutorial. I can just remove them. We see that it's grayed out. It's because it was not used. It's complaining here because we don't have anything in these two files, but that's okay. We'll just add it shortly. But that's all we need for the app.js. Let's add stuff into the about page and home page. This is our home page, and we need to create this home page from scratch, and we want to add anything that relates to home page. We should add it for this view. And we had never created a page from scratch, but it's very simple. I will start from importing. So what do we need? For sure we need React, because we are using the React library. Last time we created a component, we just cheated, and we used one of the templates that Create React app provided for us. But for this time, I want to create it from scratch, and you will see it's very simple. The first thing, we import the React library. Now we need to define a component that we can return it for this file. So first we create a constant variable. Const means this is a variable that we cannot change it later. It's like a var, but var, it's kind of like an old-fashioned and classic fashion of developing application in JavaScript. We should use const for our applications, and if we want to change the variable type, we have to use let. These are the basic JavaScript language rules, but I just mentioned it just in case if you don't know it. So that's all. See, this is in this part I just defined a constant that is a function, and this function currently doesn't return anything. And as for this file, I want to return something as an exported. So whenever we call it from here, it should have some return value. That's why we need to return something. So we have to do export. This is the way that you tell JavaScript to send this one, and we export it as a default, and we say export this one as a default. So now whatever we put inside of here, return here, it will send it back for this file. So now, as you can see, it doesn't complain anymore. It just have the return value, and it just complains about the about because about is empty. But now our homepage has something. Now what do we do here? We have also we should have some return statement here, because if we have it like this, the page will be empty. but we need to send something out for this view. And what do we send? We need to have our stuff for the home page. So I will add some stuff and I'll keep it very simple. For this view on the home page, I want to have some h2, this is heading tag, and I'll call it home page. And I want to have some button. In order to navigate, I need a button. So currently, see, as you can, as soon as I typed something, it was smart enough to import this button from Bootstrap. We had a tutorial about React Bootstrap. If you have not watched it, I highly recommend go back and watch the Bootstrap, how you install it and how you use it. And then I can add some stuff for this button. I can add a label for it for sure. What do I want to show on this button? I want to show about, because this is about button. We are on the home page and we have a button is called about, and when they click on it, it will direct the user to the about page. So again, we have some other tutorial that it talks about on click handler. So I'm not going to talk about that. If you have not watched it, you can go back and watch it. And we have on click event here for this button. What do we do here? There is a function in React router DOM that is called use navigate. So this is the place that we can just use it here. It's very simple. You can just use it and you will get used to it. React router DOM. So, and the method, this is a hook, so use navigate, and all we can do here, we can add a separate function here, or because in a previous tutorial we say we can define a function here, handle on click, like this, and we can define this variable here, again a constant variable, and this function, this will be a function, and the function in ES6 you can write it like this, and all it does is navigating. How do we navigate? From the documentation. If we go back to the documentation and go into the hooks and use navigate, if you see this use navigate, you will see that first thing that we need to do is define use navigate like this. So basically they imported, this is what we did, and then we have to use it like this. So I'll go back and define it here, and as you can see they define it as let. And what is let? Let is kind of like defining a variable, but for let you can change the value to whatever you want later. That's why we use let. But for const you cannot change the value later. And for this click handler we can just say navigate, you can call this one, and then go to whatever page that you want. You can just give it a name, about, because this button should go to the about page. As you can see here, we have, when we imported the stuff from documentation, it imports routes. Basically there are two routes for our application, and the first route is this path. It means that the home page, if they don't put anything after the URL, it directs them to the home page. But if they add slash and then about, it will go to the about page. That's all about this route and what it means. So now if I want to navigate to this page, I just have to give this part of the URL to our navigate. So that's why I put about here. So that's all about this about page. So we need to, sorry, this is a home page. We need the same thing, exactly the same thing for about page. So I can just simply copy paste this for about page. Zoom in. But this time for sure we have to change the labels, because this is the about page, and then we navigate to a slash, because this time we need to navigate to that page instead. And what else we need to change? This is about, we have to say the label of the button should change, and we can go back here. Oh, this is not home page, this is about page. About page. So these are the things that you have to be careful when you copy paste stuff. And yeah, I think when you save it, go back here, it no longer complains, and now you can run our application and see how it works. Okay, if we do npm start, you will see the application that we showed initially at the beginning of this tutorial, and it simply changes the route to whatever we are asking for. There are thousands of ways for navigating through the application via React. Even with this React router, we have many other ways to navigate, but this is the best way, I guess, using React hooks, and we'll use this navigation a lot. Thanks for watching. Like and share, subscribe, and see you later.